Hi everyone, I'm the book guy, and yes, today I'm wearing a hairband, and it's so comfortable. Why did no one tell me about hairbands? Well, I'm not introducing any books today. I have another announcement video. You see, you might remember about 3 or 4 months ago I did an announcement video, and I talked about how I was writing a book. Well, this year, in 2024, I have set myself the goal where I'm not just going to release one book, I'm going to be publishing 3. Whew! Holy crap. Okay, so I'm going to talk about all that in a second. I want to actually take this moment to finally tell you my backstory, if that's okay. You see, this channel is called The Book Guy. It's not called Michael Cronk, because the channel is not really about me and my opinions. I try not to make it about that. Liar! I want The Book Guy to be a service I'm offering you to actually help you be encouraged to read more and to find the books that are going to suit you better. So I've never really shared with you a little bit about myself, but I want to share that now. I hope you'll indulge me, and then we'll talk about the exciting stuff. You see, I wanted to be a writer. I knew that since I was in high school. 15 years ago. Oh. Well, I did go and study and get a degree in writing and literature and all that crap, and then I started working on books. Would you believe that in the last 10 years I have actually written 8 books? Every time I finished writing a book, I went through all the rounds of pitching it to every publishing house, every agent, every agency, and I got all the rejections for about a 10-year period. People love to talk about how J.K. Rowling got 12 rejections. I honestly have no idea how many rejections I've had. If someone told me that they added them up and it came to 1,200, I'd believe it.
Do you know how many? 6!
That's not so bad.
100!
Oh, that's way more.
It's definitely a lot. Well, in 2021, I wrote a book and I thought, this is the one. I did send it out to all the publishers and it got all the rejections, and I was like, you know what, I don't care. I'm going to do it myself. And I had the idea for a YouTube channel. So a little bit more of my backstory is that I used to work in administration. While I was writing books on the side, my day job was working in corporate business, and I was trying to climb that corporate ladder.
This is gonna end well.
Well, about a year ago, I suffered a really severe breakdown of my health. I had burnout because of my corporate job. Things were really bad. I got hospitalized. I had migraines, light sensitivity. I basically suffered 6 months of chronic fatigue. And I'm still experiencing burnout symptoms now. It's common to experience them for 3 to 5 years. Won't that be fun? I won't go into all that because, let's just say it got real bad. And when I challenged the management, it was basically career suicide and things got real nasty. I want to share something with you. You see, if you look at this calendar of last year, I quit my job on the Easter weekend. 2 weeks later, I published my first YouTube video. The Wheel of Time introduced spoiler-free. Now boy, that is a rough video if you've ever watched it. The camera was out of focus, the microphone was muffled, my delivery was all nervous and jittery, and the script was all right but dodgy. It was very clearly a first YouTube video, but my god, I made that out of the absolute pits of my life. I was at a real low point. But when I made that first video, I fully anticipated that I was going to start working a YouTube channel until I could grow it enough to have an audience to self-publish books to. And I fully anticipated that it was going to take 2 or 3 years. There's a lot of booktubers out there, and growth is slow. A lot of YouTubers will tell you that your first 1,000 subscribers are the hardest to get. Well, you may recall this, but on my 5th video, The Throne of Glass, I had about 100 subscribers at the time when I posted it. And then I woke up in the morning and overnight I had 1,000 subscribers. It turns out my video had been shared by Elliot, who is a fantastic YouTuber and one of the bigger names out there. And she shared it and gave me a shout out, and overnight, the channel... I'm sorry. I feel like crying. That one small act of kindness has radically altered the course of my life. I fully anticipated that I would be making videos for 2 or 3 years before I got to the point I'm at today. It's been less than 11 months, and here I am. I am not going to waste this opportunity. So, 3 books this year. We're going to make the most of this. So the timing of all this is still being figured out to some extent. But I'll let you know right now that book 1 has already been seen by an editor, and I've just got to update it with the final developmental draft. Book 2 is currently sitting with my editor. And book 3 I'm working on right now. The deadline is to have it finished by May. And then, of course, we'll go to the editor. I'm not sure how long rewrites will happen, but the big thing I wanted to announce today is in the later half of this year, maybe around September, maybe earlier, maybe later, we will be doing a Kickstarter to launch all 3 of these books. And the Kickstarter partially is to just get a wider market, get a bit of a YouTube audience and a bit of the Kickstarter audience and just try to get as much attention for these books as possible. But a big reason I'm doing it as well is because I want to try to have stretch goals where I can go straight into audiobooks. So audiobooks are a bit expensive, and I do not have that money right now, but I'm hoping we can crowdfund it when the time comes. And I'm actually really excited to say this. I can't reveal it, but I've been in contact with an audiobook narrator, one of the better ones out there. They're expensive, but they're the right one for the job. So I won't commit to anything and say any names just yet, but you will recognize the books they've narrated. They're behind me.
Do you have the slightest idea how little that narrows it down?
So the big goal is that when this Kickstarter goes live in around September, approximately, that's a big if, there will be a very short fulfillment time. Okay, so the book should already be ready to go. I want you to have all 3 of these books physically in your hand by the end of 2024. Very short turnaround time. And hopefully we can have the audiobooks in production to come soon after that point as well. And what are these books about? Well, I may have mentioned it before, but this is a urban fantasy mystery series. So it's about a young cop called Jason who is aspiring to be a detective, and he meets a woman who claims to be a vampire. It sort of prompts him to start investigating unsolved cases where he finds all these magical occurrences and all these paranormal things, and it leads him to find a whole secret society of immortals that are kind of ruling the world from in the shadows. So all 3 of these books are sort of like 3 separate cases that Jason works, but they all flow into each other and are very intricately connected. It's one of the big reasons why I want to do all 3, because it is all one big mystery, and many things are set up in book 1 that are then revealed in book 3. It's very tightly connected, and I've got a lot of big twists that I want to get just right for the series. Hopefully the goal is that this will essentially be like a Dresden Files, where each book is episodic but very closely linked in, and it should be a long series as well. I'm sort of got a rough 12-book plan in mind. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. So that is for the later half of the year. Now I do have some short-term updates as well. So I was working on book 2, getting that ready to be sent to the editor during February, and you might have noticed that my Flintlock February theme kind of fell apart there. Things got a bit messy. Simply put, I cannot do weekly videos while writing a book. It's too much. I also work a part-time job, and I don't like overworking. I burnt out recently, you might recall. What I'm going to be doing for the months of March and April is I'm going to have to slow down YouTube videos, unfortunately. We're going to slow down to 1 per fortnight, which is kind of the opposite direction I'd like to go. And I would love to do 2 videos a week, but 1 per fortnight just for this little period. But I am excited to announce for this bi-monthly period, I'm actually going to be doing a special monthly theme, or bi-monthly theme as you will. And no, it's not LGBT, but like bi-monthly would be... Anyway, so it was voted on by patrons, which is one of the great things I want to have included on my Patreon page, is your ability to vote on my content. But we're doing a monthly theme called For the Love of Reading. It's going to be a series of videos talking about having healthy reading habits and about book culture in general. You see, one of the things I get on my YouTube channel all the time is comments saying, wow, this video convinced me to read this series, but I'm already trying to read the last series you recommended, and I'd already decided to read this other series that you recommended, and there's that sense of overwhelm, like there's too many books. So I want to talk about the fear of missing out on books. I want to talk about how to get out of your reading slump and to end the rut you're in, because everyone gets into reading slumps sometimes and it's hard to get out of it. There's a couple of different ideas that I'm still working on. They're coming. They're going to be really good. And hopefully this should lead to a more positive reading culture where we are all reading at our own rates and we're choosing books that we like, not books we feel pressured to choose. So I think that's all I had in way of announcements. So again, a huge thank you to Elliot Brooks. If you haven't followed her yet, you absolutely should. She's a genuine, lovely person, and she has a beautiful white dog who is the fluffiest boy. Elliot, I can never repay you for your simple act of kindness. I will never forget this. And I also want to give a shout out to indie author Michael R. Miller, who's been on this channel a few times. Michael has been emailing me for months now, and every time I've got a question about indie publishing, he just writes a mini novel in response to it. He's been so generous in giving me so much useful insider information, and he's already offered so many... Sorry, I'm getting overwhelmed again. He's offered so many tips and, hey, I've got a contact in this thing. Do you want me to give you their number? I never thought I'd have this much help. This is hard to talk about. I'll end it there. I want to say again, thank you all so much for cheering me on, for being so positive, and for enjoying the content. I really hope I am helping you improve your reading habits and helping you find better books that suit you. So my books will be coming later this year. I will talk about it a little bit more. Yeah, you're probably going to be sick of hearing about this by the end of it. So I will be back maybe next week or maybe the week after that with the first of these For the Love of Reading books. But for now, for March and April, I have got to finish writing book 3. And I'm actually very annoyed because I was writing the final climactic scene and I realized it all hinged on making a character make a decision that they would never make. So I've had to go back and add in an entire new plot line just to justify why that character doesn't have to make that decision anymore so that the plot can still continue. Damn characters, just do what I tell you. So thank you for watching and thank you for reading. I hope you enjoy a good book today and I hope soon you enjoy my books. Bye now.